Was that go without a countdown?
Yep.
I'll give you a countdown.
That's what I was waiting
10 seconds.
for. Okay.
5, 4, 3, finger thing.
Good Thursday evening, everybody out in KLRN land. This is your introduction to the weekend a day early. This is the Culture Shift. How's everybody doing? Brad Slager is here, and we're getting ready to guide you down the busy path of all of the vital and entertaining entertainment information. But I can't go down this trek alone, so tag teaming with me on this venture into the entertainment realm is America's most digitized and laser focused Amish individual, Orty Packard. What's going on, Orty?
It's fucking hot.
Is it?
It's
So
hot.
they don't have air conditioning in Twitmo, is what you're saying?
No, they don't. No, I'm down in solitary. They don't allow us little things like air conditioning. It's just it's gone beyond ball soup. I'm making ball stew.
Oh wow, nice. An Amish chili.
How about you? How's everything? Yeah. How's everything out in America's Wang?
We are doing blissful here. We're still riding high on our Stanley Cup victory. There's no other sports really taking place right now, so that's all there is. It's just one big hockey hangover, and we're happy as hell about it.
Yeah, we're in that twilight glut of all major sports between the end of hockey and what?
Baseball.
Basketball.
They all wrap up. There's no football. Really, all you got is baseball and the WNBA, and I have a hard time telling them apart.
Yeah, there's right. There's actually more action in baseball.
Probably, yeah. And we had a bunch of family over the other day, and they were talking about stuff, and they were mentioning off players like some guy from the NBA draft and somebody from the baseball, and I was like, "What movie's he in?" "Oh, don't be like that, Brad. You know who we're talking about." I was like, "I have no clue." We were talking to some baseball player. I was like, "Got me."
Well, there's like what 178 teams and 600 weeks of the season. So how are you supposed to know all the rosters?
They play until November, so I think I'm safe as far as needing to know anything important. Yeah. Doubtful that's going to happen, but
I actually forget baseball exists until the playoffs. And then it's like, oh yeah, California has like 6 teams.
Yeah, exactly. In every sport, so you have to no way to keep up.
We keep losing them to Vegas.
Well, we've, in light of the absence of sporting importance, we do have plenty going on summertime-wise with entertainment. So we've got a lot to cover here. The box office is actually heated up. Streaming services are also now in the practice, curiously enough, of delivering their own summer blockbusters. They've basically just moved everything out of the theater onto streaming because they realize there's competition in theaters now. So things aren't getting better for the exhibitors is what it comes down to.
No, not really. And those were the ones that were hit hardest during COVID and looked like they were going to come back. Lots of shuffling, lots of, desire for, people to regain the theater experience. And that lasted about a week.
Yeah. Since our last show, however, there's been a slight change in that tide because last time we were on, it's been a little while. Damn politics.
Right.
He says, shaking his fist in a mocking fashion because it's what I subsist on. There's actually been some very positive / remarkable performance in theaters.
Yeah, and it's basically, it's what you would expect in the summer season. It's the kids' movies really driving it, especially animation.
Yeah, but even so, we have to say for a change because the last few years, it's not been as lush and as flush a segment. I mean, last year, Disney had The Little Mermaid, did good to well, we'll say, but not smash. However, this time around, they have Inside Out Part 2. And while people thought it was going to be a hit, I don't think people thought it would be this big of a hit. Holy crap, this movie's doing gangbusters.
Yeah, I mean it's opening weekend 154 million, which is that's respectable. Especially on I mean this is geared towards the preteen, more audience, especially since it's Riley's coming of age, but that's huge. And it really shows a desire for people to want this type of movie.
And I think even more impressive was in week 2, they cleared 100 million.
Yeah.
You never see that. That right there is kind of staggering. But I think the biggest lesson to take away from this, and I know you and I are hoping and praying this is the case, hopefully Disney's starting to come around on the idea that, hey, maybe if we don't try to force feed woke content and just give them good entertainment, people will turn out. Guess what happened? People turned out.
Let's not get crazy here. I mean,
I know, radical as that policy could possibly be. Yeah, it's I mean, granted, this is it's an established hit. The first movie was pretty damn successful to begin with, so you got an established franchise going now. But even so, just I mean, the fact that this is the emotions that occupy a children's head, and you're not going to get too many opportunities to shoehorn the woke agenda. So maybe that the very fact that they had those guardrails up helped the cause, but nonetheless, huge, massive, successful enterprise. So there you go. And
I mean, they could have had the opportunity on this one to, all of a sudden she's questioning her gender and, don't think Disney didn't look at it and saying, how can we put our agenda in this? But on the other hand, they're so desperate for a win. I think they just let it stand.
Probably the case. They probably were so busy putting out fires that they weren't paying attention to this particular property and worried about what they could put in there. And it maybe even slipped by the Praetorian Guard there and managed to become successful. What do you know? This thing has turned globally 1.2 billion already.
That's insane.
3 weeks. That's 3 weeks.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, it shows the hunger for just generally good movies. And yeah, I mean, look, I didn't think I would, but I liked Inside Out. I did. Not having kids or anything. I'm just like, what? I just want to, whatever. And I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a little bit advanced. I mean, we got the 6-year-old staying with us this summer, so she actually went to see the second one with other family members and then came home and wanted to see the first one. It is a bit beyond her ken right now. She kind of doesn't grasp what's going on, but there's some heavier themes involved, of course.
Right.
So, but she still stuck around with it and she enjoyed it. So that should say something right there, that if you actually challenge your audience instead of lecture them, positive results. Who can tell? And then last weekend, for the 4th of July frame, they had another Minions movie come out. Not quite as big, but still pretty impressive. I mean, this is the 4th iteration just in that particular franchise, as opposed to the other Minion movie that they also had.
Yeah, Despicable Me 4 came out, making 75 million over the weekend, 122 gross so far. And it does have a wider release than Inside Out, which is surprising. But yeah, when you get around the 4th movie, traditionally that's straight to video. So everybody kind of knows that, look, this isn't going to be fucking awesome. So
yeah, but I'm
still going to go see it.
I think they've done well with it, though, in that they've staggered these out. It's not like you get a Minions movie every 18 months, 2 years. It's been quite a while since the last one, and it's even allowed maybe for another generation to move up into the Minion realm. So
sure.
They're keeping it fresh, at least that way.
It's the success story that Pixar wrote on with Monsters, Inc. They kind of trickled those out for a while too, and every one of them did relatively well.
Yeah, and then they've broadened it a little bit on streaming on Disney Plus. They're kind of doing the same over at Peacock, and we're actually seeing a bit of an offshoot. We'll probably get into this a little bit later when we look at the numbers, but they're starting to understand, and I hopefully, again, trying to influence the studios at all possible. When you release into theaters, then your prior product also takes on significance in streaming. So you don't have to jump right into streaming, in other words. You
Right.
got a franchise. How about that? You get both
Yeah.
sides working.
Yeah, I mean, it works if it's your original outing. I mean, they all saw how successful Day was, at the end of COVID, um, where the theaters and stay-at-home streamers did relatively well. But like you said, when you're in your fourth outing, second outing, put that straight out into theaters. Let your previous products, repercolate a little bit, and
Yeah, because what people end up doing is like, oh, the third one's coming out this weekend. We should watch the first two. Get ready for it. And that's always second nature for most people to do so. They're going to have an interest in the prior iteration. So do it. There you go. That should be a formula. So hopefully we'll see something start to develop in that case. But there's been a lingering story you and I have been covering for some time, and it's been on, it's been off. And about 3 weeks ago, it was, holy crap, this is off and for good, dead in the water, never going to happen. The Paramount plus Skydance deal. Oh, wait a second. It's completed.
Well, yeah, what's funny is that, I mean, the show that we didn't get to do 2 weeks ago, yeah, we were going to cover how this deal was dead. And now it's, there's blood in the water, and, Sherry Redstone starting to look at other investors, other people to buy it. And then just this morning, or no, it was on the 7th. Oh yeah, this deal's inked. It's done. We're going to give a 45-day look around period in case somebody comes up with a better deal. But, Sherry Redstone has said Skydance wants to keep the package intact. They don't want to, part it out, so they're going to somewhat be preserving my dad's legacy. So I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, I believe what took place here was, I think Sherry was looking to buy like a couple of islands or something through this deal. And when it didn't happen, she's like, no, I'm keeping it in the family. It's just going to be us. That's it. It's going to be a Redstone property. And I'm pretty sure at some point in time, an accountant came up and like tapped her on the shoulder. Ms. Redstone, here are the numbers. We're not making any money right now, and you're going to be broke in a year or something to that effect. And she's like, oh, okay, maybe we should sell. We should probably sell. Okay, we're going to sell.
You mean rebranding our streaming service 4 times hasn't helped any?
Have you thought about putting a new Star Trek series on?
Right. You only got
Maybe
8
that'll
of those.
help.
And I always thought we need more Trek. I always thought that, especially after Deep Space Nine. Hey, we need more Trek in our lives. And then Kurtzman got his fingers into it, and Discovery is like, can we have less?
Yeah,
less
and then
more.
They're bringing Picard back, like his 3rd time around or something. And
yeah,
and I did actually, Paul and I, for our last movie on Disasters in the Making, it was really only available if I went that route. So I was like, all right, screw it, I'll get the 7-day trial. So I watched the movie, and I was like, I'll knock around a bit. I got it. Let's go through the library, see what they got. Okay, 30 seconds later, they got Jack.
right.
Because I'm zipping right by the Star Trek, and it's almost like that kept populating. We have Star Trek. Hey, did you know we have Star Trek? By the way, Star Trek, did I mention? It's like, dude.
And if you didn't see over here, we got some Star Trek over here. We got some kids Star Trek. We got adult Star Trek. We got,
if you don't like
Star
Trek, we got Picard. That's different.
We all loved Picard in the 80s. Remember him?
Well, we have also a cartoon for adults based on Star Trek. So really not much else going on over there. I got to be honest with you. So,
not really.
Which
is, I mean, considering Paramount Pictures library, you think, and CBS's too. CBS just announced their fall schedule that still pertains to people who watch broadcast television, but multiple Blue Blood spin-offs, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, you go to Paramount's streaming service, it is We Are Star Trek, and here's some other offerings if you dig deep.
Yeah, and it's, understand, I've got a few going already, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, so you're going to have to kind of jump out at me to make me stick around. It's not like this is going to be a case of Oh, I'll watch a couple of these shows, and then before you know it, the 7-day trial's up, and they nail me. It's like, well, I got it for a month. May as well watch it, and that's how you get
Might as well
stuck. No,
finish
this
that
was
series.
by like day 3. I was like, no, and cancel. So your Skydance's problem now.
Skydance is an acquisition of this. I mean, they've been a longtime partner of Paramount anyway. They've done a lot of Paramount Pictures flagship titles like Mission Impossible, Transformers, and a couple others. So it's kind of like an in-house purchase. So basically, it's just a cash infusion and yet another rebranding, I guess.
Well, yeah, and that was the other thing I noticed too. Like when I got past the Star Trek glut, all right, what do you at least have for movies? Zip, zip, zip. Oh, a Transformer. Zip, zip. Oh, another Transformer, and another. And there you go. Star Trek or robots. Take your pick. We have everything.
Or Tom Cruise, because you have Mission Impossible and Top Gun.
Yeah,
so
I think Cruise by now has like 10% stake in the studio, if I'm not mistaken. Wouldn't be shocked.
He actually has more than Redstone had.
Yeah, I know. It's like every time he makes a movie, it's like, and how much more stock do I get?
Yeah.
Am I on the board yet? Or 2 more movies? Okay, got it. Yeah. That kind of thing. So it's, I wasn't really tempted when I was there. So that didn't last through the weekend. I had to do that for the July 4 episode and didn't make it to the 7th. So basically I canceled the day they were announcing their merger. What does that tell you? Not that I influence things. I'm just saying.
Well, you may have. God damn it, we lost Slager.
Yeah, exactly. Everything was good. Sign it now before they find out.
I just can't believe that this story is basically over. We've been covering this on again, off again love affair for 2 years.
I'd be really curious, and if I had the time, could probably research it and find out what the valuations have been over that span. Like from the time they first entered negotiations to signing.
That's interesting because I mean they paid $8 billion for it, which that's fairly cheap. And most of it, I mean, it wasn't even like cash. I think it was $2 billion in cash and the rest in stock transfers.
Yeah, it's the curiosity for me is this: Paramount is on that list of streamers losing their ass every year. I mean, it's to the tune of billions. I mean, they always cut it down. It's like, oh no, we only lost 1.3 for the quarter.
Right.
It's always that kind of, oh really?
What's your cumulative loss over the last 6 years? $1 million.
Yeah, we're basically a third world country that's in debt.
Right. Yeah, we're ready to declare war on the United States and then sue for reparations.
We're hoping in 3 months' time to start getting some United Nations assistance, if that tells you. We should probably be on that sheet of paper soon. Can you send over some airdrop supplies or something over for the commissary? We're that bad. Yeah, I don't see what the attraction is. That's the thing, because as we've been covering, they've been constantly trying to rework this thing, and the competition is just broadening. And they had even that attempted constriction about a year ago when they brought in Showtime as well.
Yeah,
because Showtime was foundering so much.
Which is funny because I was already subscribed to Showtime, so basically I get Paramount Plus for free. and that was just one of those. That was one of those I just forgot to cancel. It's I watched that Gods TV show, and okay,
sure,
forgot to cancel. Hey, wait, I get Paramount now. Now I can watch Deep Space Nine when I'm bored, and there's nothing else on.
And I don't know if it's still going on. They were doing, wasn't it Prime Day recently, or is that still coming up?
I think it's coming up.
They were doing
it's either coming up or it's happened.
Yeah, I mean, we're right on the cusp of it, whatever that. I can't keep up with the holidays anymore. But let me just see if it says.
I haven't even put my 4th of July decorations away, and I got to put my Prime decorations up.
Yeah, exactly. July 16 and 17. So yeah, it's still on the way. But they were doing also some streaming deals for Prime Day. So you could get things like BritBox and a couple of those other small like MGM Plus for 99 cents.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I'm
for
not.
the year?
Yeah, I haven't really looked at the deal. I just saw kind of like a listing of it. It was like, and these 4 are going to be available during Prime Day.
If there's no commercials, it's better than a fast.
Yes. And so I was like, I don't know, maybe. I mean, there's some Brit stuff I like, but
Oh yeah, yeah. You can always fire up, watch Sharp. So that way you can get the meme posting that Vincent Charles and I do.
was that you guys are the PBS memers?
Yeah.
No, I get it. Oh, they're telling another faulty Towers joke. No wonder I don't get it.
Right. You got to have a level 7 meme understanding if you get the butterflies references. But the one thing that is actually probably worth it in that whole deal, Paramount Plus and everything else aside, is the lifelong tie-in CBS has had with the NFL.
Yeah, but is that I don't know if that's even really considered a premium because you can get that with the digital antenna.
Right.
I mean, the only way that
CBS is part of the deal, so you get that.
You're basically already getting it. I mean, where that would be a temptation would be with Prime because they're getting the Thursday night games now, and then
you got
Netflix
the
is going to have
Christmas Day
the
games
Christmas
on Netflix. Yeah.
So putting the NFL on Paramount Plus is like, so the thing I'm getting for free, I got to pay for now. it's not.
Well, I mean, if you look at it like this, you don't have to. Well, yeah, but true. But then you don't have to worry about blackouts, and it's still cheaper than a Sunday ticket.
Yeah, how's that going?
Because
that was in last year. Wasn't last year the first time it moved over to YouTube?
Yeah, that went really well. That was a in case you hadn't heard, the NFL was assessed a $4.7 billion ruling against them in damages over fans of NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV. Obviously, that's going to go to appeal, but still.
Yeah, I should have signed on to this because I just out of desperation and we tried to get the Sunday Ticket the last year it was with them because you didn't have to have the dish that year.
Yeah, that was when it was on.
They offered up a streaming version of it, and the wife, being the Buffalo Bills fan as she is, we had to access the games, and it literally pissed me off. Knowing we tried about I think 3 different services to get a Bills game. There was the NFL app. You could pay like $5 and you can get the games. Oh wait, not all of them. Well, all right, what the hell am I doing this for? We tried another, and then it was like for some reason they had local blackouts in Buffalo, even though we live in Florida. And then
they were playing a Florida team. So.
I was like, you know what? Screw it. I love you. Let's just bite the bullet, and I'll do the 3-month package deal and get it for like $80 for 3 months or something like that. And even on the Sunday Ticket, you couldn't get every game.
Right. Which was the whole point of the Sunday Ticket.
Like, that's why we get this. And okay, but select markets don't. And so basically, if the game was on NBC or CBS, they wouldn't have it on the Sunday Ticket. It's like, it's okay, but it's an out of market game because they're playing the Dolphins. Well, okay, but CBS still has it, so you can't watch it. Well, I'm canceling it. No, sir, you signed a contract. Watch me cancel it.
Right.
That's what it came down to. You signed a contract, sir. It's like, well, I'll tell my bank otherwise, and that's it. I ain't paying for what I can't get. And even the games we got, they were dropping. Like the service would go out, wasn't Wi-Fi. Like it said, Sunday Ticket is incurring a problem. That one's like, so games I don't want to watch, I can't watch.
Right. Well, and, the statement about
this settlement here.
Yeah, the statement about that, Roger Goodell said, hey, 85% of the games are on free broadcast television. When they're not, the league is committed to making it free to air in the local markets of the two. So I think we're going to where their fans are. What you need to understand is that people move in their life. And, fans of the Bills may live in Florida. Fans of the Broncos may live in Virginia. Fans of the Raiders may not live in Vegas. So that really doesn't do the fans any good. There are more fans out of state than in state usually.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't have to explain this to the commissioner of the NFL, but there is a thing called road games that takes place.
Unheard of.
So when my team is out of market and I can't watch them, what's your explanation? This is what we experienced.
It's free when they're playing in Denver. Oh, that's fantastic.
Gee, thanks. Yeah. So
you're a giver, Raj.
So I'm not at all shocked that this settlement came in because, they screwed the pooch on that. And
they seriously did.
This was literally me trying. I think I paid for 3 services that season before I finally said, you know what? I'm getting a pirate app.
Right.
Not because I'm an asshole, but because I want to watch the game. That's what it came down to.
And because you're an asshole.
Well, I mean, I'm the asshole that's willing to do that. But after shelling out, it's like, you know what? I paid for this already. I don't feel guilty now pirating it.
I have paid more in subscriptions than it would have cost me to fly and watch the game.
Yes. I could be in the stands in Buffalo for what I shelled out to not watch the game. How about that? So I'm pirating the sumbitch.
Right.
And then ironically, I had to do the same thing for the last month of the hockey season because Bally Sports was going belly up and stopped broadcasting locally. So it's like, you're forcing me to do this. That's what
I don't want to. I have to.
I'm not even Jack Sparrow anymore. I'm just like, hey, I don't have. It's this or I'm eating. I got to be a pirate just so I can eat. It's kind of gotten like that point. Killed me. So yeah, 4.7 billion. Damn. And that's a pretty good shot right there. And I think the fact that the NFL is not even really blinking should tell you something.
Yeah, I mean, Goodell made comments of, we're going to trust the legal process on this one, and obviously we're going to be appealing. And all you're going to be getting on the appeal is more money for your lawyers and maybe $1 billion knocked off. But judges are sports fans too, as are juries. Mm-hmm. And everybody hates you, Raj.
But I mean, like 4.7 billion is a damn significant figure. And the reaction from the NFL is, we'd rather not. It's not like they're saying this is going to cripple the league. We won't be able to pay our players. They're just like, really? All right. Our conference, we might have, instead of Aruba, we may have to do Vegas this year.
Yeah. Could you check the couch cushions, see if we got that laying around? So, I mean, that's how nonplussed they seemed about the whole thing.
Instead of 8 GM meetings, we'll only do 7.
Right. Yeah, another comment he had made about, the relationship with CBS is, we had the highest viewed Super Bowl in a long time with 200 million viewers. It's like, no, they weren't watching the game. They were watching Taylor Swift. You had those were the Swifties watching. It wasn't because anybody really cared about the fucking game.
Well, I think you're short-circuiting the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce drama, though. Because that audience was built in. You say, all right, it's still Taylor Swift. Fuck it.
Yeah.
But just on a side note here on that kind of settlement, a story I helped break open a couple weeks ago. CNN is facing a defamation suit right now.
Really?
Pretty damn significant one, too, because I remember when Fox had to settle with Dominion. Mm-hmm. And I had to sit there and watch with just, a painful, disgusting feeling in my gut as like Jake Tapper would come out and say, oh boy, Fox News. Here they are calling themselves journalists. Well, let me tell you, they're not, because they had to settle. And in their comment, when they said our integrity of, I need a moment. Oh, integrity. Fox News. Oh, these people. And then he just dripping with smarmy condescension.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm sure Oliver Darcy had a boner that lasted 4 months because of that.
oh, that little shit. He is like, this proves they're not journalism. I had to crack up too. There was some of the reporting that came out about the debate and all that. There was a piece by another CNN reporter, and they referred to the Fox Entertainment Channel. They like refused to call them Fox News.
Even though the news section was spun off when Disney acquired Fox.
Fox, what do they call it? I think they called it Fox's Entertainment and Punditry Channel, something like that. I mean, it was like a real like little kind of thing. Well, Jake Tapper and company are currently enduring their own defamation suit.
Oh, really?
A report that happened on his show, The Lead, was concerning the pullout from Afghanistan and that fiasco. But they had gotten a hold of a contractor. He's like a former military guy, and his job is basically extracting people out of hot zones. That's just his specialty. And they reached out. I talked to this guy. He was explaining it to me that, they came to him allegedly on deep background. We want to do a report on your industry. So if you could give us any shading on how this operates. And, he's like, yeah, sure. And he's explaining stuff to him. Well, they did a complete hit job on this guy. Like, he's a black market operator, and just put his face on camera with black market under it, and how he's gouging these poor Afghanis who can't afford his services and charging exorbitant amount. Just ran this guy out of the business, really. So he sued him. He got internal documents that are holy shit damning.
Oh, nice.
Like, for one, the editors and such kept saying to each other, it's like, well, we really don't have a story here. We don't have the facts. This is all speculation. There's no, they're just accusing him. There's no evidence. We can't run this. And they were like, oh, we're running it. And even the people on the digital side, the website articles, they were like, we're not doing it. This is bad. They still put it on the air, though.
Of course they did.
And they ran it through standards and practices and legal. They were like, yep. And then he found communications between the producers and the editors and the reporter himself. And they were like, this guy's a dick. We're going to knock him in the dirt. We're going to knock this asshole out of business, piece of shit. Literally, these are the documents. I'm reading them. I was like, oh, damn. They got him on all this stuff. And they're dead to rights. They put out a fraudulent story and with intent of malicious activity. I mean,
that's fantastic.
And the judges all looked at this and were like, oh, yeah, you can go forward with this. Absolutely. Yeah. And he says they're looking at something that could eclipse the settlement at Fox.
Wow.
I mean, just because of between mental anguish, the professional damages, and then punitive. This could be it.
Yeah, plus defamation and everything. That's fantastic.
So, and nobody in
would
the
have
media
learned their lesson after the smirking Covington kids, but no.
Well, that was, I remember at the time when Tapper was doing this, and was like, do you not remember Nick Sandman? Because that was you guys.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, this happened. But no, and here they are doing the very thing that they're accusing Fox News. They're not real news. And, Brian Stelter's the one with, we have a rigorous editorial process of vetting stories. It's like, well, you dropped the fucking ball on this one. So that's
in the chat wrap saying MSNBC's looking at 30 million too. For their own
they got one that just started to crop up as well. So it's
I've always said advocacy journalism is just basically prostitution in print. And here we are, folks.
Hard to argue. The past 2 to 3 weeks, I have just been walking around with just a grin on my face with watching the way the media is melting down around us, because
just constant fodder for reliable sources.
Well, yeah, they're definitely that. But what the part I enjoy, though, is like, I've been saying this for a couple of years. It's like, you assholes are doing this to yourself. This is why people stop. You got to switch. You got to change. You have to. Now we know what we're doing. And I said it to a couple people. It's like, just look at who's been consistent and who's changing 180 degrees. All these reporters today are, oh, it's just, I can't believe how we were lied to by the administration. It's like, dickhead, 2 weeks ago, you said we were lying if we put up an accurate video.
Yeah, you said you called them cheap fakes, and now
We got video of Biden drooling on himself and tripping over a staircase. That's a fake video. And then the debate comes out. Yeah, he's actually turns out to be worse, so we don't like him anymore.
right.
This is what's going on. So yeah, these kind of suits, I don't, I usually don't even give them much airtime because everybody, I'm going to sue you for defamation. It's like, what do you got? An uphill battle, son.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the court docs, and this guy crested the summit. He's got him. I think we'll see.
Yeah, the judge basically said, please go to trial.
Well, they tried to say that, well, black market just means unregulated. It doesn't mean illegal. And they had like 5 dictionaries as well as 24 court cases where blackmail or black market was indicating illegal activity. And the guy's like, judges said to them, does your standard and practice division not know how to read? I mean, literally, that was kind of the reaction.
Yeah, the definition of black market is contraband, ergo, Latin, illegal.
Illegal activity in the black market. It's right there. I mean, Webster's, Merriam, court documents. Yeah, that's a thing. But it's going to be fun to watch. That's something on the horizon to keep an eye on.
Speaking of court,
where are you going? Which one?
Poor Redbox.
Oh yeah.
Filed for Chapter 7 and Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Yeah, I was really. This one hit me. I was really surprised when this came across my transom today.
Well,
because I wasn't aware they were still operating.
You get a lot of the ones you watch out of Redbox.
Yeah, I used to, and it was like when this came across, it was like, man, I haven't hit a Redbox probably in over a year. And it used to be, it was like my automatic stop when I went to the grocery store. It's like, let's see what piece of crap they got in the box. Ooh, got to get that one. John Travolta, please, $1. So I would do it. But yeah, it has been a while. And mainly because really anything on DVD now you can get somewhere. And, the Redbox is literally across the street from me. It's about 500 feet from my front door. I should say used to be. I went to the website today. I was just like, I'm just wondering if any are still open. Because I'd go there and like pull about 5 discs out and never return them.
Sure, the 5 worst just for your collection.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to mine for the gold there. But no,
sure.
Nothing's the site is open, but nothing's functional. So it's like Redbox locations. Oops, you pulled up a function that's no longer operable. Oh,
right.
Okay. And I know you guys got a streaming service. How about that? We're unclear what you're trying to find on our website. No, so all of it is down. They are effectively done.
Well, when you get bought by a company that is best known for making the Chicken Soup for the Soul self-help books, you kind of, when we announced that 3 years ago, I saw the writing on the wall then. I mean, you got to think how massive your failure is that there is still one Blockbuster open.
Yes. When that deal did come across, it was like, what is going on here? Because this is small publishing house buying the only national DVD distributor left on the planet. Why?
Yeah.
And I still don't know why. Because it wasn't like it felt like at that point in time, if anybody's buying Redbox, it would be one of those, we're going to sell off the parts kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No. It like sell off the streaming rights because they were getting into that, and then they were piggybacking on that Pluto channel model, that everybody uses now, the free TV. You got 500 channels. They were doing that on the platform. The DVDs. It's like, why would this company buy that? Still don't have a clue.
You know where you're going to see these turn up? They're going to be like the old Wurlitzer jukeboxes, where people are going to get these red boxes for their for their DVD carousel.
Yes, it's going to be like one of those retro items in a man cave in about 20 years.
Yeah, like an old Coke machine or something.
Yeah. I was up in Tennessee at an antique sale, and they had a red box machine, and now I'm going to go on eBay and buy like a whole slew of these in bulk for 50 cents per and restock it and just, hey, go hit a button, get a free DVD. Go try it. It's cool.
Remember these kids? No, you're too young.
Yeah, it's right over there next to the wind-up turntable, the Victrola, and the red box. There you go. Knock
And
yourself
the
out.
Laserdisc player.
Have some vintage entertainment in the man cave. Yeah, it's kind of sad, but it is the truth, though. It's like nowadays, I don't even think you can buy a laptop with a DVD player in it anymore.
You can't. I still work on people's computers. They don't. You have to buy the external USB-C DVD player. There's no little button on the side that you accidentally open it for a drink holder.
Yes. I mean, I had, it doesn't seem that long ago. I had one it had a dual.
Yeah.
So you can write and record on it and that kind of thing. It's like, I swear I'm not pirating movies.
No, I just happen to have access to all these screeners.
And don't mind that pile of blanks over there in the corner. That's just like, I'm doing a Nakatomi Plaza out of that. Just it's an art project. Shh. But it's kind of weird now that we've pretty much seen the nail in the coffin of DVDs. It's a done thing. I don't even know. Does Netflix even still offer that?
No, they DC'd that like in 2020.
I used to love it too. It was like when I was doing the movie reviews back in the day, I had that wired with Blockbuster, where they had, and it was all centralized. I had the Netflix account in the mailbox. Right across the street was a Blockbuster. And in the grocery store in the same plaza, they had a Blockbuster kiosk, believe it or not. So, and you could go and rent from the kiosk, bring it to the store and swap it out for a free.
Nice.
And I could watch like 10 movies for about $10 a week.
The one thing that always bugged me about the old days of Netflix would be like, you'd get a season of something, like Red versus Blue or whatever. And then like season 3 or like disc 3 was always missing. Like whoever had it before you never returned it, or nobody ever returned that season. So you could never get it. It's like, well, fuck, I can't go on. You know what? I'm just going to hold on to 4 and 5 as ransom until I get 3.
Well, they would also job you too, because your account was staggered on how many discs you were allowed to have. So you can get, the 3 disc account, the 5 or the 6. So you had to up it in order to get a season. They would do 1 disc.
Right.
You wouldn't, like, they can't send you, of course, the box of season 4 of The Fall Guy. You have to get disc 1, disc 2, and so you'd burn up your whole monthly just by getting the 1 season to come in a week or 2. But
right.
Who am I to argue with their business model?
Did you get Constantine in the queue? No, because I can't, because I have these 7 other discs from season 1 of this TV show you wanted to watch.
I actually had it, though, to the point where, I don't know, I was on 3 or 4, I forget what, but I would get, I would watch something and I would immediately drop it back in the mail while I'm watching the next one. Drop that in the mail. While I'm on the 3rd one, then a new would come in, and then I was on a nice little cycle. And in between, if I had to, I would do the Blockbuster thing as well.
It's amazing what we got down to a science in the primitive days of movie distribution.
Yeah, these are the kind of stories you're going to tell the grandkids in about 5 years. Back in my day, we had to get DVDs in the mail. What's a DVD, Grandpa? Gather around, kids. Let me tell you a story.
Hey, everybody, an old man's talking.
We had a box underneath our TV, about the size of a stereo. What's a stereo? Okay, we're going to go back to the 40s now.
Okay. Now, first there was this guy named Nikola Tesla.
Before hi-fi, we had Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Or the other way around.
Yeah. I was picking up your.
I sound like Grandpa Biden now. Sorry.
Yeah. Grandpa Simpson makes more sense.
Hey. But over at streaming, that's all the rage now. There's
Boy, ain't it?
we were talking about earlier about how the streaming services are doing summer movies and such.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Hitman yet?
You know, it's actually in my queue.
Highly recommend it. I highly recommend it because here's the thing with basically all the streamers, Netflix in particular, though, they have kind of a quality about them where big stars, massive sets, tons of CGI, basically a shit ton of money being spent on the production.
Sure.
Except the script.
Well, I mean, we learned that early in the days of the show when we talked about the Netflix blockbuster Six Underground.
Mm-hmm.
Never letting that go. I will remind you of that to my dying day.
And it's extremely valid, though, because that is exactly... It's almost like the prototype now of a Netflix movie.
It's actually their template.
All kinds of crap is happening. You know, Ryan Reynolds is in this. And look at the explosion. Holy crap, they just sank a 700-foot yacht and helicopters are dive bombing. And man, what's it about? Fuck if I know. Just explosions, right? And bullets. There are bullets and an explosion. Oh, there's a motorcycle chase. How many of them crashed? All of them. Okay. And
these productions basically make Michael Bay look like Martin Scorsese.
But they all kind of have that same quality. Like, what was that one with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and
oh shit,
Red Target, Red On, or something like that.
Who's drowning their dog?
I think Cranky threw a chainsaw down the stairs.
Right.
I'm trying to be quiet, but I had thoughts on Netflix.
Oh.
Yes, I know a producer. I don't really get to speak, so I'll shut up.
Right.
No, have at it. What do you got to?
What
do you have to contribute?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Just talking about Netflix. There's like a secret sauce that they're just lacking. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I mean the effects are good. It kind of reminds you of the television, the TV show of the week. You remember the ones were made for TV movies? Because the next day you couldn't even remember what you saw. I mean, you guys can't even remember The Rock and that other guy.
Yeah.
I saw that movie too. I couldn't tell you. I think I remember European locales in it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it was kind of an Indiana Jones sort of kind of storyline because they had to keep finding treasure here, and that would lead them to another part of the world to find more treasure, which led them to the next clue to the next. What are you doing here? Oh, there's a twist. Somebody's double crossed somebody. How about that? And
oh my gosh, it's coming back to me.
What was the one with Mark Wahlberg? Uncharted, was it? Based on a video game. Same thing. It's just it's bloated. It's full. There's all kinds of crap happening. They had 2 different pirate ships dragged by helicopters that were having an aerial dogfight with each other.
The tracks.
Like you've seen in the news before.
Yeah. As one does. I mean,
it's like, what the hell's going on? It doesn't matter. Just whatever's on screen is going to get destroyed. Just stick with it. Right. Yeah, but that's not a big expensive. Hey, they destroyed it. How about that? It's like they all have that same feel to them, where it's almost like it's a massive Lamborghini. There you go, and it's got a 4-cylinder engine, so it doesn't go over 40 miles an hour. It looks great though, doesn't it? Isn't it? Turn the stereo on. It's got AM. Try it. It's that kind of thing.
And that's the thing is like, these movies don't even qualify as schlock because at least schlock tries. This is just how fast can we set money on fire without actually setting money on fire, except for the explosions because, fire.
Yeah. Honestly, every Netflix film, it feels like one of those script treatments, where they basically break the plot down on 10 pages so they could, that's what they shop to all the agents. Hey, well, you got to be in it because here's what's going to happen. And then they just take those 10 pages and use it as the shooting script.
No, we frequently do the elevator pitch on the show. It's an elevator pitch that never made it any further than that. They just said, okay, this was pitched to me in the elevator. Well, what's happening? Doesn't matter. Just film it.
Yeah, it's like they just come up with enough of an idea to get people to sign on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll do that movie. Great. We're done. Shooting. Go. And that's it. They all feel the same. It's like, wow, this looks amazing. And I watch it. Looks amazing. I mean, Axel F. I just watched that last week. It's exactly the same. It's everything is there. All the players are in place. And it's like, I like it? I always come away from the movies feeling the same way. It's like, I think maybe. They all have that weird feeling. It's almost like a chocolate covered rice cake.
I'm 106 billion minutes viewed on Hitman.
But this is the thing. Hitman is actually good.
Okay.
I'm not going to oversell. I mean, it's not effects driven. It's not all that. It's actually well written, well acted. I was like, holy crap, this feels like, what do they call that back in the a motion picture. That's what that is. Like it actually has a plot. It actually has a storyline, and people actually had time to work on their acting and stuff. It's like, wow, okay.
I'm just happy to see that nature is healing and that Netflix is retaining 4 of the top 5 movies on streaming right now.
Yeah, the only one to really break up that has been the Inside Out.
Yeah,
replay watching.
The first one.
Yeah,
that's not even the second one. That's the first one.
Everybody's diving in for that, and then over on the series side of things, The Boys is showing that it is really serious.
Mm-hmm.
People just love that.
There, as always.
It's I think what it is with The Boys is it's got that Deadpool element to it, where it's just got that level of subversion of the superhero matrix that I think that's
art. That's good. Yeah.
But it's got comedic elements to it. That's the thing. It's like the
best dark shows do.
But it's not slapstick. It's subversive. It's very it's biting. It's satirical, that kind of thing. But between that and Deadpool, I think is what the comic book genre needs, because I think people are really played out with it, and just the way that they attack all the tropes and they go after all the cliched nonsense, and people just gravitate. They're like, yes, thank you. So it's like they want to see a superhero movie, but where they're basically flipping the middle finger to superheroes.
Well, it's the same reason why The Tick was so popular.
Yes. I think the cartoon more. I like the Patrick Warburton version too. That was kind of good.
I did like the Patrick Warburton one too, but I mean the cartoon in and of itself was just, because that's our era. That was kind of Adult Swimmy, but not so much, and still, good fun.
Yeah, it definitely worked. And I got to say, at least on the series side, it's got a good mixture going on. It's not all Netflix. So we got The Boys on Prime. We got Bluey on Disney. I guess that counts. NCIS, Netflix Paramount. Maybe this is the problem, Paramount. You're sharing your good stuff.
Yeah.
And then you got Criminal Minds and Bob's Burgers on Hulu. Oh, Criminal Minds, Hulu/Paramount. How successful could you be if you just took those 2 shows exclusive?
Grey's Anatomy, Hulu/Netflix.
I mean,
those are direct competitors, right?
This is the kind of stuff I just don't understand. It's like you're suffering.
This is what I love about the industry, though. It just makes no fucking sense.
I will forever love Hollywood, because economics they're like, you're not supposed to do that. Well, we always have.
We already did.
Have you been successful at it? Well, not yet. Okay. Silly me. No, this is how tough, though, things have been for one of our current favorite punching bags, the Acolyte. We have to go into the subgenre of original series before it starts to chart. And that's not good. That's not good. So I've been covering this a little bit at Red State, and they were just over the moon when the first episode came out. 8.4 million, biggest debut of 24 on Disney Plus. It's like, how many debuts have you had? Doesn't matter.
Right. One, but still.
And then, okay, how about week 2? How about week 3, 4? It's like hard to come by those numbers. We're still compiling. But okay, you had overnights when you did good.
Right.
4 weeks later, do we have any updates? We're still counting. Yeah, waiting on the.
I have a feeling they're not going to let this one die because they're so emotionally invested in the message that we're going to be covering this one the way we were covering Batgirl.
Mm-hmm.
The constant death by 1,000 cuts of this. I mean, it's dropped down to the point where it's the second to worst Disney Star Wars. And the reason why it's not the worst is because not everybody understood Andor. Andor was actually good, just not a lot of people.
I enjoyed Andor.
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't grab onto it. So that's actually, in the first 3 episodes, it only had 5 million minutes watched. The Acolyte, with its... Oh, no, sorry, that was the average. But The Acolyte, with 2 episodes, only has 82 million.
Yeah, it didn't impress very much. So the most accurate numbers we got out of Disney were 8.4 million on the opening day. Great. 5 days later, only got to 11 million.
Yeah, if you average that out of a 37-minute runtime, that's 5.95 million. That means most people didn't even stay through.
And the thing is, I covered this just before the debut. I saw, what was it? Was it Forbes or New York Times? They interviewed Leslie Headland, the creator. And in it, they mentioned, now the Star Wars fans are going to be happy because they have this cantina scene and they have this reference to a couple of characters. And you just saw where they were shoehorning in fan service at the start just to get people in. It's like, see, trust us. It's Star Wars. See, there's a robot. I'm sorry, you call them droids, don't you? Yeah, it's a droid.
Well, you see, and that's just totally... And that's where they didn't get it, because the Mandalorian fan service was organic. It's like we talked about it, they put in the troop transport that was only a toy. It was never seen in anything. And then it was finally on screen. And if you had the toy, you got it. But it wasn't like, hey, it wasn't total panderberry. It was just kind of like that Easter egg in it, so
it showed up. They didn't have like spotlights on it. It was like, look, guys, look. It was just, there's a scene and then the transport showed up. We were like, wait a second, is that? Holy crap, it is. And that felt cool as hell.
You're right.
This is like, okay, in 5 minutes, cantina scene, everybody come on, gather. This is
we're
for
going
you.
To the cantina. Did we mention we're going to the cantina? Hey, everybody, we're going to the cantina. Okay, we're in the cantina now. Remember that bar? That was in the cantina. And that's the booth over there where Han shot. I didn't say Han shot first because it implies that Greedo shot.
Yes. No judgments here. We're just saying.
Right.
Bullets were fired. We're not saying by who. Yeah. Okay. No, the thing that cracks me up about that, though, is that might have been to their detriment. Because in the first episode, if they're putting the fan service in, guess what? The fanboys are going to stick around. And then the fanboys are going to notice you have fire in space. You have a character that says Jedi never bring out the lightsaber until they intend to kill. And the fanboys right then and there said, well, I'm leaving now because I have to go make a compilation video of all the times Jedis have pulled their lightsaber.
Right. And I'm going to get more views than the show did.
Yes. I'm going to get traffic that you want. It just left and right. They just kept doing this. And I literally stopped after the third episode. I was like, I thought this was Star Wars. I'm sorry, but okay. Lesbian witches had an immaculate conception. You don't need me for this.
Right.
But the thing is with Andor, that's like the low water mark now, and it's just barely clearing that. But Andor that's not a pandering Star Wars series. It is a setup. It's like the backstory of how the rebellion began. So it's not all robots and drinking blue fluids and stuff like that. It's actually a character-driven show that's good.
Right.
I mean, Andor had all kinds of like nominations and stuff. It wasn't just,
and it fit in the universe. It made sense. You could take that moment and go, "Oh, so this is why that happened later in episodes 4, 5, and 6." And it gave you, it was a touchstone. I mean, you understood what was going on. Where lesbian space witches who have an immaculate conception. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, and it's they didn't get pregnant by the Force; they got pregnant by the thread. Which is that not the Force? Well, it is, but okay. Like when you go to a city and you're on the street, and if you go to the north, all the bars are over there, but if you go to the south, they're all gay bars. That's the thread, and the Force is to the right. I mean, that sounds as asinine as can be, and yet it's spot on accurate in this show. I mean, it is. The Jedi, what is it, episode 4 or 5? Somebody wrote the Jedi are actually shown to be bad.
I completely even checked out on the reviews of that. See, this is the kind of thing where we would need to have Jeff to do a deep dive like he did in the Ring of Power.
I wouldn't do that to Jeff.
I wouldn't do that to him. I mean, he's got season 2 to brace himself for. So,
yeah, exactly. Got to build up your moonshine resistance before that gets released. So I understand. Yeah, this is literally going exactly as we all predicted.
Yeah.
Like me and Brandon Morse over at Red State have both been kind of tag team in the show, and it was beforehand. And I was just basing everything on what she was telling us. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. It's like, so you're telling me it's going to be shit.
Right.
That's judgmental, you sexist. And now we found out it's shit.
Yeah, it was exactly
who's changing and who's accurate.
Right. Again, our prescience, because we knew it was going to be shit. Even when they were trying to write the Old Republic books with Rock.
Well, they always point to Rotten Tomatoes, where people go there and review bomb it. It's like they haven't even watched the show and they're review bombing. It's like, well, they're doing the same thing at IMDb, and you got to actually watch the show to do it.
Yeah.
Plus, we've got the viewership numbers, which, as we're looking at here, number 6 in original series, which is the subcategory, not overall and not series. So this is the Disney Plus Star Wars offering that couldn't even crack the top 5.
Right. See, and this is, I mean, okay. So even among the Star Wars spin-off shows, by season, you got season 3 and 2 of Mando. You got Obi-Wan, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka season 2, and Andor. And Andor is after the Acolyte. And really, I think the only thing that drove the Acolyte was all of the people who just wanted to verify with their, it's like, oh, what a terrible day to have eyes. To verify that it was the train wreck that it would be and never return. Kind of what I'm imagining season 4 of The Witcher is going to be.
Yeah, I've and I'm not buying into it. Oh, it's got them in it. I refuse to watch and give it a 1-star review. I'm looking at like Nerdrotic. He watches all the shows, and then he comes out and explains what the train wreck was because he was on the train.
Jim too. Yeah.
So I'm actually getting empirical judgments on this. And like I said, I watched 3 episodes, and it was like, God, I like the third one. It was like I had to keep like rewinding. It was like, oh shit, I forgot it was on.
I'm not taking the word of Han Solo 42069 on Rotten Tomatoes.
I watched longer than I needed to be confirmed, and then I'm checking other accounts that have watched the other episode, and it's like, oh boy, And they had a scene where they were looking at a space rat and said, "What's his name?" Or they or them. How do they identify? Literally, that was part of the dialogue.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad I missed episode 4
Right.
when that occurred. Otherwise, my TV
So it's
probably
kind
would
of like
not.
I say when when they have to impose their agenda, and whether it's in BattleTech or Warhammer or Dune or whatever, and you're thinking, if you're still fighting for representation, I mean, okay, I understand in Star Wars we're in a galaxy a long time ago and far, far, far away, but 40,000 years in the future, have you considered that maybe your ideology is shit? If like spacefaring, intelligent, erudite species still don't subscribe to your bullshit, maybe because it's bullshit.
Yes, I'm agreeing with you because
Yeah.
we've said it on the show before too. It's like stop bastardizing existing property. If you really think there's an audience for gay, lesbian space witches, make an original product. And call it whatever you will.
And I'll tell you why they know that it doesn't work and why they have to tear down their own, they have to tear down other IPs, because they tried that once. Sense8. I had pretty good hopes for Sense8 until about 2 episodes in, and then realized this show was cast by a committee, what we call DEI now, and that is more important than the actual story, because the story is going fucking nowhere.
Yeah, they're hitting his element points.
Yeah.
We have this gay character, this lesbian character, this. You don't have a story.
Right.
Wrap a story around that. Make it organic if you can or something. But when they do that, it doesn't work. Look at Bros.
Yeah.
The sex comedy for gay people. It was sold as such, and all of the homophobes were said to be responsible for the movie failing. It's like, you realize gay people didn't turn out to watch your gay movie.
Right.
That's why it failed. And they can't figure that part out yet. Well, I think they have figured it out, which is why they have to latch on to something successful.
Right.
So basically, you shame an existing property and franchise. You don't have enough gay people in it. You don't have enough representation of trans. And then, okay, fine, we'll put some in. And then it tanks. Funny how that happens every single time, but there you go. I mean, I don't care if there's gay characters. I mean,
Yeah.
all right, look at Deadpool. How many times does he make a gay joke in the first 2 movies? Constantly.
Yeah.
You didn't scare anybody away. It was like the first and second most successful R-rated films
Ever. And
Well, it
amongst the
depends.
most successful superhero films too. Anti-hero, superhero, whatever you want to, yeah.
I think Passion of the Christ did a little better because he told that one joke in the cab. It's like, I did better than Jesus. Okay, domestically, but international,
Right.
But that's the thing. It's like, it's the gay element isn't what's scary. It's when it's only gay, and that's all it is. That's when it's a problem, because that's all it is. Like, nobody walks around and says, "I'm going to make a heterosexual movie." What's it about? Guy and a girl doing it and kissing and holding hands, and yeah, but what are they doing?
That's about it. And making straight jokes. What are straight jokes? Well,
Well, you wouldn't get it.
yeah.
You're woke.
You're not straight.
You're not one of us. You wouldn't understand. Yeah. You need content, is all I'm saying. But I'm trying to work this segue. Let's say, well,
No, there's no segue other than, speaking of Michael Bay from an hour ago.
I was going to say, maybe, how about this? We mentioned how Redbox died. So
Right.
this is as clumsy as it gets, but very esteemed and established actress Shelley Duvall just passed away.
Yeah.
This is a performer, I'm just going to say, with a very interesting, curious career. Because
She kind of, she was all over the place. Nashville, Shining, Popeye.
Yeah, she was a fixture with Robert Altman. That, 70s, 80s director. But yeah, she
Bruce
was.
McLeod.
She's a woman that you wouldn't look at. I'm trying to be as genteel as possible here. She didn't have classic Hollywood looks.
And
I'm being
yet
charitable there.
she
But yeah,
cleaned up quite well because, I mean, okay, in most of the films she was in, she was made to look unattractive because when you see her in like glamour shots or whatever, she's actually quite attractive.
Mhm.
Just, it's like she's the, you know, okay, we need to have a plain, kind of like Sissy Spacek, where we need you to be plain, even though you clean up really good in your everyday life. We need you to not be that.
Yeah, she wasn't a natural beauty, so she ended up playing in every woman very well.
Right.
And she was probably perfectly cast as Olive Oil.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't be there. Nobody else in the world. Maybe Twiggy, but Twiggy was, I don't know, too much classical beauty to play Olive Oil. Wouldn't have been believable.
I would just dare say she was about the only good thing about that movie. that and the set. The set was
Yeah,
impressive.
the sets were great, and Shelley Duvall was great, and Robin Williams was there.
Yeah, the rest of it was kind of a mess. And
Yeah.
why Robert Altman to direct out of all people? No, that's not a Robert Altman vehicle. Sorry. And did you know Will Smith is going to reprise Popeye?
Oh God.
Serious. I was looking at something else, and I think I was scanning through a release schedule at some point in time, and it just, later this year, Will Smith. I was like, what? Oh, no. That looks like a mess that I have to see. So that's on the horizon. But yeah, Shelley Duvall passed away. It was 75, was it?
75 of complications from diabetes. If you look at pictures of her within the last few years, completely unrecognizable as Shelley Duvall. I mean, it's just a terrible disease that destroys the body.
Haven't seen much of her in a long time, actually. So, yeah, but even so, very established, and a bit sad to see her depart, as always.
So, because we are up against the wall with another show, while we're talking about Shelley Duvall vehicles that are being reprised, we have to talk about this one. And I know we're kind of skipping a couple other stories, but Apple TV is redoing Time Bandits.
I saw the trailer.
Yes, I too saw the trailer.
It's it's a lengthy teaser. It's not quite a scissor reel, but it's pretty lengthy, about 2.5 minutes, I think it was. Pretty extensive.
Yeah. Which is great if you like the first 30 seconds of the song Rome by the B-52s. Because you hear it over and over. Now, don't get me wrong. Rome was probably at the point when Kate and Cindy were at their absolute hottest. They had all the money in the world. They got all their flaws fixed and absolutely beautiful in the video. And I met Kate with Fred backstage at a Bad Religion concert in Vegas, and charming, wonderful people. And that's all I'm going to say about the song. Okay, here's what I'm. Okay. The original Time Bandits being a Terry Gilliam cult classic that it kind of changed a lot of how 80s movies were done. And it was the first in his long stream of successes after that with The Adventures of Baron Munchausen and Life Bright, so on and so forth. It had original song written by George Harrison, which, interesting fact about it, Dream Away by George Harrison was a low-level critique of what he thought of the movie, the things he liked and the things he didn't like. He was just too much a professional to get in the way of what Terry was trying to do, and it wasn't until afterwards that George said, that's what this lyric meant here and there. So there was no Time Bandit soundtrack released, so he released it on his album, and it was really the only good song on that album. That is how important that movie was. It was able to get a Beatle to write the closing credits song of it and use it as a pinned critique, where this one is using a 35-year-old party band's song in a loop.
Yeah, because you see, when they say Rome, it's spelled ROAM, as in traveling a lot, and that's what they do in the show. Get it? I mean,
You know what? That I didn't
they
pick up on that, Brad. You're blowing me away here with your insight into this.
you must have missed the snow shovel they applied to the back of my head when it was like, because they're roaming, you see.
Yeah.
Bam.
And also, they're in Rome in one of the scenes. So you see,
well, here's my takeaway from this. Now, this is an Apple Plus show, but this fits just in the same realm of all the other we talked about earlier in the show. The Netflix quality show. Very opulent shots on this. The sets look really good. Costuming is on point, I guess. No, the jokes are as obvious as they get, and it looks like they want to basically use the premise of time travel bandits for sitcom jokes, as opposed to exploring the storyline, possibly.
Right. You basically have Lisa Kudrow reprising her role of Phoebe from Friends, except in charge of the. I mean, it's not like she has a lot of range. She basically always plays the same character anyway. She's like Tom Cruise in that respect. Yeah. And
I mean, she's got some comedic timing, but at the same, it's not like she's occupying a different character either. So it's like, why is Lisa Kudrow in this? That's what you say the whole time in the trailer. Oh, Lisa Kudrow's back. Not who she's playing or what she's doing, just that. It definitely feels like a Netflix film. All of the big stuff, and it's like, what's the story? What these are the jokes, and you're putting them in the trailer? Yeesh.
You did that, and you did it on purpose. That's brave.
Now, contrast this with Gilliam's movies in the 80s. They too had pretty big budgets. I mean, the sets in his movies were just jaw-dropping at times. Time Bandits, Brazil, Baron Munchausen.
Yeah. But
he had something attached to it. You had a storyline to follow. You were like, whoa, what's going on? And it carried you. You were following a storyline, and then bam, these sets would show up. You're like, what the hell? Holy. And you were enthralled. Here it's just, you're supposed to like it. You're going to be wowed by this. Watch it. It's going to be really cool. Yeah, but what are they doing? Just watch. Okay.
And I guarantee you it's not going to end the same way. See, the thing with all of Terry's movies is that there are layers. I mean, layers of depth and thought-provoking material in it that pan out after several rewatches. It's like, wow, that's really not this. And it wasn't all in his imagination. It wasn't a dream. And these characters keep reliving the same roles through history, and where King Agamemnon and, defeating the Minotaur is also the fireman at the end. And is he going to adopt the kid after his parents, just layers and layers and layers of nuance and subtlety. This is just based off the trailer, is hitting you like a brick to the face in every way imaginable. Not just the snow shovel to the back of the head with using Rome, but everything is just, we are going to assault all of your senses with a blunt object.
Yeah, they're going to assault your senses, but not your brain, is what it comes down to.
Right.
So your eyes and your ears and everything's being engaged. You don't have to think about a damn thing.
No.
Time Bandits worked because there was a sensibility that ran through it too. Because when they first drag you into it, you start in a kid's bedroom, and all of a sudden his poster transforms, and literally a knight on a horse jumps over his bed. And you're like, the freak is going on? And you're on board.
Yeah.
And it's this ragtag team of midgets that travel through time in order to rob riches. And you're just enthralled. You're like, whoa, that is awesome. And the whole time, they are as just like secondary in what they're doing. It's like, all right, well, here now, we'll go steal next. Or it's time travel to them was like a bother. It was like getting on a bus. And just the way they conducted themselves while they're doing amazing things made it so organic. and you were just taken along. I didn't get that
and
from the trailer at all.
No, not one bit. And start to finish too. It's like the start of time been the original one zooms in from space, coming right down into the main into Kevin's house, and then at the end of it, it does the reverse shot of that after the house catches on fire and everything, zooming back out. And after it zooms out throughout much of the known universe, then they roll up the Supreme Being rolls up the map, and the image is as important as this whole thing was to this boy. It is largely insignificant. Not just in the universe, but in all of time and space. And it just, like I said, layers to the brilliant movie. And it's going to be on Apple Plus that nobody fucking has anyway.
Yes. I mean, it's a thing. It's there. So and
it exists.
It's prejudging off the trailer, admitting that fully. I'm just saying you're not dragging me in though. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't know that I'm gonna be on board.
You haven't grabbed me.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for the next bus. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, we're all getting close here, but we do have a little bit of a bridge into politics, I suppose. But this applies too because it shows you how poorly things are going, not just for Biden, but by Biden. Right. Everybody right now, a lot of people in the press are just keep trying to harp on, oh man, all this stuff's happening to Joe and the press is all jumping on him and the Democrats are jumping on him. It's like, this is warranted. Okay, they're doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So coming out of the disaster that was the debate, they were trying to resuscitate his image. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways they were going to do that is have him go speak with some black radio host. I'm not being racist. This was their intention.
Yes. To replay the interview with Charlemagne the Great and hoping he didn't have a "if you ain't voting for me, you ain't black" moment.
Yes. How well
and
that
in many ways it is much, much worse.
Well, I think it says a lot when in 2020, the black vote was something the Democrats counted on. It's like, oh, he's going to win the black vote. That's basically his nomination all came down to South Carolina, where there's a significant black contingent, and they pushed him over the top then, and then everybody else dropped out or got kicked out. This time, they're actually working hard to get the black vote shored up, which tells you a lot right there.
Right.
So coming out of the debate, two black radio stations, and these are WURD in Philadelphia. In fact, their call letters are in the black, yellow, green, and red mode.
Yeah. And if you didn't catch it, because a lot of people didn't seem to pick up on it, it's WURD. WURD. Yes. WURD.
And the other one is a civic radio station out of Milwaukee. Now, the two DJs that he spoke to, the show host, I should say, appeared on CNN Saturday morning to talk about the interviews they conducted. And during the interview, they let it be known that the White House gave them all the questions to ask. About a list of 8 or 10.
We picked 4 of the 5 questions. We weren't total toadies. We just, we didn't ask all the questions. We picked the ones that we wanted to ask.
Yes, they gave us an approved list, but we were able to choose which ones for ourselves. So this was permanently, totally on journalistic up and on. And it turned out that 2 of them basically chose the same 4 questions. Right. Well, that's convenient. But
this all a huge list to draw from.
Yeah, the staging, the scripting, everything put in place for Joe Biden, of course, is on display here. They didn't seem bothered by this. Neither one of them were questioning the fact, like, probably shouldn't do this if we're journalists, right? No, they were proud of it. Well, as a result, the female reporter from WURD ended up severing her career with the station on Sunday after this revelation.
Not by her choice, mind you.
Well, according to the press release, Ordy, she left on her. She chose to leave the station. That's what they're telling us. But yeah, it basically, she got pushed out. But this is the amazing part. This is, You can't find anything to blame on Republicans, conservative. This is entirely on the left. All of it. It's Joe
Right.
Biden, black radio stations, journalists, CNN. I mean, all of it is on the left. And Joe Biden effectively got a black journalist fired for their mandating how they would be interviewed. And now we find out today, it even gets worse because the Milwaukee station has been discovered after the interview, which was recorded, not live. The White House reached out to them and said, hey, we're going to need you to take out some stuff that we didn't care for. So there was some talk that he said about how many black people he has on staff in the White House. They wanted that excised. And then some discussions about Donald Trump and things that he's going to do. It's like, yeah, if you could just take that segment out too, that'd be super great. Okay, appreciate you doing that. And the station did it. I mean, this is the kind of crap that the journalists are in trouble for.
But then the station said later, oh, we found out about the edits and we have now run the interview in its entirety on July 7th. You found out that the call came from inside the house, that you did exactly what you were asked to do, and then somebody spilled the beans. Yeah, one of the comments from Biden was that he has more black people in his cabinet and in his staff than all previous presidents combined.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to need to get a list from the Barack Obama administration.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just for comparison's sake. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fact checking. That's all. I'm fact checking, Daniel Dale.
Yeah, and the other one was that Trump wanted to have the Central Park 5 executed.
He wanted them to hang.
Right.
Wasn't aware they do that in New York City these days.
Right.
In fact, I wasn't aware that New York even had the death penalty in general, let alone what methodology, but color me surprised.
Yeah.
Now, this is how big of a mess this administration is. And again, yes, Biden is a mess. You can't argue that fact now. But what about the administration, the people running the show here? I mean, look at all the crap during the debate he said that were outright lies that have been disproven for years that he's out there spewing. How do they not have this drilled in his head to not talk about it anymore?
Right. Yeah, and again in the debate, I mean, we were talking about it when we did the live show, and this was kind of irritating, about Jake Tapper, is that Biden would say something that even Tapper had debunked. And the media's like, well, why didn't they ever call out Trump on his lies? Well, to be fair, they didn't call Biden out either, because even Jake Tapper had, dispelled the very fine people and the injecting bleach comments.
Well, today at his presser, ostensibly he's supposed to talk about NATO for a little bit and then take questions, but it was basically a campaign speech, and during which he said Donald Trump was responsible for Vladimir Putin invading Ukraine, because when he said he was going to do it, he just threw up his hands and said, do whatever you want.
Right.
It's like, dude, he invaded over a year after you took office.
Right. Yeah, 2022 is your term, pal.
Not sure how Donald Trump had any say, sway, or influence on Putin invading. In fact, as I recall, you basically told him if he did it, you weren't going to do anything. And so he did it.
Yeah, you didn't even have the red line. You just,
It's like, we prefer if you didn't do that. Well, I'm going to do it. Well, okay. We still prefer not to. But yeah, this, so in the wake of the debate, this is the thing. After the debate, journalism has been completely exposed. I mean, they are flailing. Brian Stelter is cracking me up no end. News outlets have been completely shown to be just hacks par, no competition. And yet they're still behaving this way. This was a week after the debate, and these two stations just rolled over. Whatever you say, Mr. President, we'll do it. Got questions? We'll read them. Want to edit? Sure. We'll compromise our journalistic ethics.
Again, advocacy journalism is shite.
And now we've got Lester Holt is going to do an interview with Biden. His second major interview since the debate. It's going to be taped, and then they're going to play it at 9 p.m. Monday night during the Republican National Convention.
Okay. But it's just
don't-
Monday, so
Do you guys not want to cover the convention like news outlets usually do? You're going to do a campaign spot for Biden during their convention. Okay, interesting.
Well, it's Lester Holt. Nobody's going to watch anyway.
No, but it's just they're still doing it is the thing. The very behavior that has gotten them so compromised that are still doing it. I'm just at
There's
some
no
point in
self-awareness
time
left.
that's what I was just going to say. That is there any approach to that? No.
No.
I mean, I know you people have makeup artists. You got to have mirrors in the house. No, not going to use them.
Nothing.
Okay, got it.
So, well, we got to wrap it up, my friend. Where can people find you this week?
All right. Well, I'm available on a daily basis over at townhall.com, where I shred and rip apart the media on a regular basis there every day, and also do the same over at Red State on the front page. And I got my twice weekly podcast there called Liable Sources. And I will be also on this very network next Thursday. As we mentioned earlier, I'll be here with Paul Young from ScreenRant.com for Disasters in the Making. And Tuesday evenings, I'm here with the ever effervescent Aggie Rican for the Cocktail Lounge, where we discuss potables and culture and art and sports and all kinds of leisure activities. And if you need more of me than that, let's face it, you do. If you head over to Jitter, I'm at Martini Shark. And what about yourself, Ordy? Specifically, where can people find you right now?
Right now, specifically right now, you can find me sitting in my chair in someplace in the California desert. But let's see. I'm off the rest of the week from podcasting. You can find me next week, starting Tuesday night on Rancor Steve's Manorama on his on Rumble and X and wherever you get your fine. God, I started calling it X against my best judgment. I think it's just because I'm pissed at him. Anywhere that you can find your favorite podcast. On Wednesday night, it'll be myself and Politibunny will be back with the next installment of FUBAR. After that, you'll find me on Rick and Ordy with Rick. On Saturday night, you'll find me on Juxtaposition with Rick in our Conspiratainment deep dive into the weird and unnatural. And yeah, that's about it. I'm suspended, and so yeah, you can't find me on Twitter.
Oh, you're not on a backup account?
Why?
Oh, geez, they broke your spirit.
They broke my spirit.
How do your fans get
Twitter
to
did.
you?
Twitter didn't break my spirit. Anyway.
Well, anybody wants to contact Gordy, you could reach out to me or Cranky, and we'll get messages over to him. And
yeah,
and then,
I mean, I do have the Yoder Secreto account, but I'm only on it for chatting when KLRN shows are on, because why fucking bother?
Well, we demand Circle K updates from you.
Well, so, anyway.
All right. Well, we are going to keep tabs on the entertainment news, compile, collect, and we'll be back here in a fortnight with more vital entertainment information on the Culture Shift.
Hail Hydra.